What's up, members of the Barrio? It's John coming to you from the Williamsburg waterfront in Brooklyn. And today I'm going to be making a video that I've never made on this channel. We've been around for almost 3 years now. A real Q&A video. We're going to be talking about New York City stuff. We're going to be talking about my personal life. Questions that you asked, I'm going to answer. So let's get started with question number 1. I like this one. I like this question a lot. In fact, I'm titling the video after this question. What is the most challenging thing about living in NYC? Thank you, Grayo Darcy 33. I had some time to think about this. I would say the most challenging thing about living in New York City is not losing your humanity, and that's a little bit difficult to explain, but I would say that a lot of the things that you witness on a daily basis in New York, if they were taking place in other small towns, let's say in the United States, you might stop for a second and see if people need help. Makes you, I would say, a bit numb to the environment, and that's something that makes me want to leave New York sometimes. It makes me want to travel. It makes me want to experience other things. Just getting really tough being in this environment all the time. I would say that is by far the hardest thing, without expanding too much. What is your favorite thing about living in New York City? Mary McFly, thank you. Posted that on YouTube. My favorite thing about living in New York City is that there is no end to the things that you could do on a daily basis here. For somebody that enjoys exploring a lot and never being bored, this is the city for you. Things are open all the time, 24-hour delis and always a new exhibit, a new restaurant, a new neighborhood that I haven't seen. I would say my favorite thing is the endless possibility. Tyson Slade asks, move to the city first, then find a job, or find the job first, then move to the city? I would say either find a job first before you move to New York, or have money saved up before you move to New York City, because it's very expensive here. It can eat you alive, and I think a lot of people come here, they don't have enough saved up, looking for a job, can't find anything, burn out quick. I would say have some money in the bank before moving here, better yet have the job already, and then everything I think will work itself out. Ronnie722 from Instagram asks, what was the scariest thing ever you had to endure? Definitely having cancer, scariest thing I ever had to endure, because when you get the news about it, that they have to search your body. I had testicular cancer almost 2 years ago. The anniversary is coming up. They have to look if cancer spread to other parts of your body, and I'm a pretty healthy young man, I'd like to think, and getting that kind of news when I thought I was invincible was really shattering. I was really wrecked for a couple days after that, and not knowing what's going on inside your body. I don't know if there's anything that's that much scarier than that. So I'm fine now, but I would say that was easily the hardest thing I ever had to go through. And yeah, that's what I gotta say. Got my guest here, carrot face. Dave on Arrival, my boy, thank you for the question. Asked me on Instagram, do you ever get sick of New York City? Yes, I absolutely get sick of New York City. Look at this crappy weather. No, just kidding. The weather here is it's been a nice winter. I get sick of New York because when I travel, a lot of times I like to go places that are very different from New York City. I like to escape the hustle and bustle. It's absolutely insane here. I love it, but there are times that I hate it. The crowds, the noise, the pollution. There are days I wish I was sitting in front of a lake with nobody around, just to relax and to gather my thoughts and, I don't know, think about life. So yes, there are moments, especially when I haven't traveled in a long time, that I do start to hate New York just a little bit. OG Cook asks, do you make your living off YouTube, or do you have a job as well? I do not make my living solely off of YouTube. I don't make enough money off YouTube. In fact, up until the last couple of months, I barely made any AdSense from YouTube. I've had a lot of success of late, a lot of new subscribers, views are up, so the AdSense money is up. But I do have another job outside of YouTube, which really isn't related to YouTube, so I'm not going to go into it at this time. But I have an online business, and yes, so I don't rely on YouTube just for money, which in some ways is good, some ways is bad. I like it because I don't have to be sad if a video doesn't get a lot of views, or there's full-time creators who really rely on the money specifically from views, and I don't have to find a lot of brand deals and things that I'm not interested in doing just to make money, although I'm open to them, of course, if you're watching. So. Are you from New York City or just recently moved to New York City? Also, please plan on making videos of other places outside New York. Thank you, Travel Buddy. I am not originally from New York City. I grew up in northern New Jersey, which is about 20 minutes away from Manhattan that way. But I was coming to New York my whole life. I've lived in New York City for about 8 years now. And I am planning on traveling again. I mean, this is a travel channel. For a lot of circumstances, I've been making a ton of New York City videos, which is great, but there will be more travel. We're a little bit afraid of his water touching us right now, but...
Q&A Extreme Edition.
Yeah. Webby the Spider Boy, shout out to him. He comments on a lot of the videos. How did you first meet Adriana, and how did you ask her out? You're a perfect couple, by the way. Thank you. We actually just got civilly married. We're having a big Mexican wedding in December, and you're all invited to watch the video that I make about it. You know what? I think I'm gonna save an Adriana story for another video, because I don't know if the story's that good, but I just don't want to answer that question right now. What was our first date? I think you said we met in Greenwich Village, got some drinks, got some beers. It was fun. And someone else asked, without looking it up, are me and Adriana planning on having kids anytime soon? And the answer is, I don't even know where my next trip is, so I don't know. We'll see. How much of NYC in percentage do you think you still have to explore? What a shame, Mary Jane. Cool YouTube channel she's got. A lot. Like, I would say 90%, 95%. New York is so big and crazy that I've barely scratched the surface on this YouTube channel, so I will never pretend to be this all-knowing guide about New York City. There is so much that I'm willing to learn and to explore, and one of my favorite things about having this YouTube channel is the fact that I get to go out there and look for cool things to do to show you guys, so I am exploring just as you guys are exploring watching the videos. This might be my favorite question. SB asked, what's it like filming for YouTube in New York City? A lot of noise.
Perfect. Wow.
Perfect timing. That's the short answer. We're gonna maybe wait for that to stop and finish the answer. All right, the car stopped making its noise. What's it like filming for YouTube in New York City or reviewing food in restaurants? Do you formally ask before filming in an establishment? This is such a good question, because, and Tal probably would agree with me, it depends how expensive the meal is, I would say. If I'm doing a video reviewing multiple places, I usually don't like asking for permission, because I feel like I can be a little bit more honest about everything. If I'm reviewing $5 pizza places, it's not that expensive, and I can take the pizza outside and the owner's not gonna be watching me. When you get a comp deal from a restaurant, I'm not saying I'm not being honest, but I feel like you do have to put a bit of a positive spin on things. I haven't had an experience where I got a comp meal that I didn't like, because I'm very choosy about the sorts of places that I would want to work with. Like the $100 grilled cheese video, that was sponsored, but that was maybe the best sandwich I've ever had in my life.
Or the Monster.
Or the Monster from Sarge is also sponsored, also amazing. So I guess the short answer is, if it's a cheap food item or it's comparing multiple places, I generally will not get that video sponsored. If it's some kind of specialty food, something crazy, I will reach out depending on what it is.
Yeah, speed round.
Okay, speed round. Here we go. Dio Balug asks, are you learning Spanish with Adriana? I studied Spanish for 3 years online with a tutor through Skype, and I don't speak enough Spanish with Adriana. We're working on it. I need to practice more with her. Places to visit with kids. I don't have kids, so I'm not a good person to ask that question. Sorry. What else? Where is it? Someone had a good one. What's the longest flight you've ever been on? 16 hours nonstop, Newark to Hong Kong. What else? Top 3, Joey Wallace asks. Joey Wallace 1995, what's up, dude? Top 3 cities you want to visit badly, but you've never been before. I'm not gonna say cities, I'm gonna say countries, in no particular order. Greenland, maybe number 1 on the list. South Korea, India. Adriana really wants to go to South Korea. That trip could happen in the near future. Stay tuned. Should I keep going?
Give us one more. Give us two more speed rounds.
2 more speed rounds. Okay.
Here we go.
Okay.
No. Stakes are high.
Okay. Where, in your opinion, would be an affordable place to stay for a week in New York? Asked Chiron8908. And somebody else asked me, what are some non-touristy things to do in New York? I'm gonna say that I did a bunch of videos about these topics without answering it right now. One of them was answering frequently asked questions about New York City. Check out that video on my tips playlist. I'll put it in the description. And then I did a whole video about finding cheap hotels, also on my tips playlist, linked in the description. Check it out. Members of the Barrio, make sure to check out all of my playlists linked down below if you got more questions about New York. I've covered so many topics about non-touristy and equally touristy things to do in New York City. Hope you enjoyed a little bit more of a personal look into my life. Thank you so much for watching, as always. Got a lot of cool stuff coming up. Until next time. I messed up. I actually thought of one question that I wanted to answer that I didn't answer. Maybe I was filming ducks.
These guys just started like drifting in.
Are the ducks more interesting than me?